My name's Jen. I'm going to give you a book review on Gabor Maté's book, In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. He is an amazing physician, doctor, and very well known for working with people around recovery and addiction. And specifically, this story is about him talking about his patients that live in the Lower East Side of downtown Vancouver, which is in Canada, and it's known for being a place where it's just full of people who are very heavy drug addicts and have really poor mental health and just a host of different issues. And they've taken over that part of the city. And now himself and the other people that work with him in his office have moved their office right down there. So they've become a part of the fabric of the community, so people trust them. And when we look at people who are living in that type of a life, I think everybody can relate in some way or another what it means to be addicted to something, whether that be drinking or social media or behavioral things, relationship things. And it doesn't really matter, but if you have any kind of an understanding about what addiction is about or what it might feel like to get out of control, you probably have a curiosity about why is it that this happens to some people and doesn't happen to others. And I think that this book gives you, a person who might not have medical background or even have somebody in your life who's very close to you who's gotten to that very extreme point of addiction where they're living to do drugs and living to survive, and they're making decisions that normally in society we don't find acceptable and behaving in ways that are unacceptable in a traditional fashion. But what he does is he tells stories about patients, not just one story of one patient, but a story about a patient over time, where sometimes the conversations are interesting and insightful for him, and then other times they're a completely different person because perhaps there's substances involved or there's mental health issues happening there. But what he does is he creates a real human perspective on people that I think a lot of times we don't give a human perspective to. People are living in these horrible sets of circumstances where they're not looking after themselves from a physical perspective, and their addictions are so strong. It's hard to grasp as a person from the outside looking in how you could imagine anybody to live that way. But he manages to give everybody a face and everybody a heart and helps you to understand why these things happen, certainly to certain specific demographics. But he talks a lot about where a lot of these people that are experiencing these heavy addiction, and it's not just one group of people, it's lots of different types of demographics, but the history of where they come and how they were treated as children, and just all the degradation that they go through from other people, how they made them feel in their lives. And you slowly start to understand why they started the behavior in the first place. And then he gets into some more medical aspects about what happens to the brain function. So starting to be addicted is a habit and you get into yourself into an unfortunate situation in your life, but then your brain chemistry changes and you change as a result, and how hard it is to come back from that, and all the support that's needed, and all of the different types of tools that are sort of out there to help people to move through some of these stories. And I had to take a break from the material a couple of times because it is emotional, and I think anybody with a big heart and empathy, and you want to learn, but sometimes learning is hard because it's unfamiliar, and he's very descript. But I think that the more that we learn about different people in the different walks of life and try to understand what it is that brought them there in the first place, it makes us a lot less judgmental, and also kind of catches yourself to say, anything could happen to anyone, and just, gives you a bigger heart and a bigger understanding. He's an amazing man. I think it's tremendous what him and all the people that he's worked with have done in order to help and support these people, but you'll have to form your own opinion. But I do hope that you get a chance to take in the information one way or another.